One.
She was dead on.
Wow.
Hey Facebook Live, it's Dave Lindquist from the Indianapolis Star. We're here today. It's a treat to be with Haley Lu Richardson, star of Columbus the movie, which opens this weekend in Indianapolis and Columbus. You've seen Haley in M. Night Shyamalan's Split, as well as The Edge of 17. And congrats on Columbus.
Thank you.
A performance and film.
Did you see the movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
And welcome back to Indiana.
It's like literally a year later. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nuts. This is my favorite movie I've ever done, so I'm like really excited.
Yeah. What were your first impressions of Columbus, the city?
Honestly, I love it. I mean, I think also maybe I'm a little bit biased because I went into it. My character in the movie, Casey, is an architecture nerd, and she, I think, more than anyone around her in the movie, in the town, appreciates the architecture and what it means and how she's moved by it and exploring it and all of that. So I think I went into it with that kind of mindset, which made me just appreciate it so much more.
And a plot point is that, and not to make you speak for your generation, but that you are kind of unusual in your affection for great design and architecture. Do you think that's how people your age?
I think I don't know if it's, I mean, I do think it's partially a generational thing, but I think kind of where we are in the world now, it's more of just a society, like an everyone thing. Like there's so much overstimulation, there's so much to see and so much to, hold our attention that because there's so much, nothing really holds our attention anymore, And there's that whole monologue in the movie, like just about that, what I just said, pretty much just quoting lines from the movie. But so I don't know if it's just solely a generational thing. I think it's kind of, unfortunately, where we are in the world right now. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite building in Columbus?
Yeah, I think I loved all of them. It's hard too because the ones, again, kind of like connecting to Casey, the ones that, she has a list of her top like 20 buildings. She ranks them all. And so I did get like attached to that bank. The
Deborah Burke.
Yeah, the Deborah Burke
bank.
Who I met Deborah Burke, by the way. Yeah. That was pretty cool. Like I met her at one of the screenings in New York, and Kogonada and I were both meeting her for the first time. I was like, my arms are so sweating out so good. But so that was Casey's, one of her top ones. But I think mine, I love North Christian Church, the one with the big thing. That's just
spire,
so cool.
Kind of looks like a
it's
UFO
so
ready to take off.
Beautiful on the outside and so different from any church. Like the fact that someone in that time, he was like a little later, I guess, because he's the son.
But still, it was very futuristic.
But it was still like it looks like a spaceship. Yeah. And like at that time, when everything was this like Victorian, big, tall thing, it's like what a cool concept, and that changed. When artists make these things that are new and different, it like changes the whole kind of unraveling of the whole world and where everything goes.
So one of Deborah Burke's newest buildings is right here in Indianapolis.
Really?
It's actually a new local distribution headquarters for Cummins, the town that basically Columbus was built upon.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you about your character's relationship, Casey, with Jen, portrayed by John Cho.
Yeah.
Now, I do not perceive this to be like a red-hot romance.
But you didn't get a little...
But two people who genuinely
I don't think it's that.
help each other with their problems.
Yeah. I think, and I loved that too, that it wasn't like this guy falls in love. I mean, it's not that movie at all. It's not a romantic...
All right.
I mean, and it might be a little bit, like maybe in another world they kind of would... I mean, even though their age and
timing
but honestly, I think sometimes that's more real about what happens in the world. You can just like pass through someone's life and be so important, but not have to be there forever. I don't know. I sometimes wonder. I wonder this with kind of all my movies, but I wonder like what would happen after. Like if the movie were to continue, or you picked up like a Richard Linklater thing, or if he picks up like 10 years later, like where would they be? Yeah. And I'm sure that they would always remember, obviously, that time, and then maybe they keep in contact. But I don't know if it would be something to where they like. I mean, I don't think they'd fall in love. Okay.
I had the privilege to interview Kogonada.
And he genius.
Yes.
Yes.
He spoke about John being a very generous presence on the set. You've been on films. Was there a good camaraderie or vibe on the set of Columbus?
Oh yeah, John. Oh yes, the vibe and first of all, the tone of the movie that Kogonada created and set for all of us and worked with me and John on and all the actors was amazing and perfect for the movie. It was a very like creative space and a very kind of you had like space to feel things and to interact and actually come up with things in the moment and like. So that was special, and then also John's great. He bought sushi for us all one day. John's great. He's a know-it-all. He's so smart, and I didn't go to college.
So if I'm right, you grew up in Phoenix, moved to LA in your teens, and another actor in Columbus is Rory Culkin.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you compared.
Rory's great too. Literally everyone, all the actors, all the crew, everyone was great.
I wonder if you compared notes with Rory as both being, you know, he came up pretty young, and you both were in M. Night Shyamalan's film.
We didn't talk, because I didn't realize that was him.
In Signs.
Yeah, in Signs, because he's so young. But that was funny. And that was like one of the first things he did. Rory did, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we did talk about that like later on in it. Or maybe it was even just at Sundance, I think. At Sundance. When I think I was like, hey. And he was like, you're in this. Yeah.
Now, you and he spent a lot of...
But we didn't compare notes.
Right.
Sit there and compare notes on night. I'm like, oh.
The two of you spent a lot of time in the library in Columbus.
Honestly, the library is another one of my...
IMP.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite buildings.
I love it how the geography of Columbus is pretty accurately represented, because John's character is staying at the Miller Inn, which is right next door to the library.
Especially that area. Yeah. That area is very geographically accurate. How that was all. Yeah. Because a lot of times in movies, you know, it's like, we're coming out of a door here, and then somehow the street we're filming on is 10 miles away.
Yeah. So up next for you,
yeah,
you portray Louise Brooks.
Yeah.
Viewers, if you don't know who Louise Brooks was, she was like the Marilyn Monroe, Greta Garbo, Rita Hayworth of the early 20th century.
Yeah.
And her nickname was Lulu.
How weird is that?
Haley Lu.
Isn't that weird?
Destin.
People call me Lulu. One of my agents calls me Lulu. Friends from back home call me Lulu.
And the defining characteristic of Louise Brooks was her bob haircut. You ready for that?
Well, I did it already. We filmed the movie.
Oh, okay.
It was really scary. It was because I've never played a real person before, and I'd never done any period thing, so it was like all new, but so exciting. Like, and I got to dance in the movie because she danced with. This is another thing. So at that time was the kind of beginning of modern dance, and things were obviously shifting.
Yeah, Martha Graham, right?
Yeah, Martha Graham was in the Denishon Company, which was this like one of the first, you know, transition from classical or modern dance into, or classical or ballet dance into modern. It's like the whole idea of modern, which is kind of another thing that it like almost parallels very kind of different times or similar. I don't know. What time was modern architecture again around?
Well,
was that coming in?
Columbus, the building in Columbus started coming in right after World War II.
Okay, so it is kind of similar time then. Yeah. Well, it's just interesting the dance, learning about that. Just that whole concept of like what I was saying earlier about how somehow the art forms seem to be the thing that kind of moves and progresses.
Yeah.
You know, the reflection of where women were in the 20s and all these things, and what a family dynamic was and all these things, and how that changed based off kind of the art and how the art was changing. It's really interesting.
Well, it has been awesome to have you with us here at Punch Bowl Social, right underneath the Indy Star offices. Tonight you're going to be in Columbus for the premiere.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the people like to be able to see it with the people in Columbus, and my parents are coming.
Awesome.
And they get to see.
All right, so the Chaperone, that Louise Brooks film, has already been made. What's next? What's next?
Next. I'm actually one of the producers of Columbus, Chris Weitz, who's awesome, and he has really cool eyebrows. He is directing a movie, and he asked me to be in it, so I'm really excited. We get to go to Argentina.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Well,
I've never been anywhere in South America.
Argentina has big shoes to fill after Columbus.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.